So this is basically your algebra quiz that you did, and I went over every problem, even the ones you got right or the ones you got partially right. So feel free to pause and work things out before I work them out for you, and rewatch the video if you need to, or you can always email me. Write the polynomial in standard form, then name it based on its degree and number of terms. So for the first problem, you had 2 minus 11x squared minus 8x plus 6x squared. Now, the first thing you always should do is simply write the problem down on a piece of paper, because if you do things in your head, you're going to make mistakes. And you have to get into the habit of writing things down. So rewrite it in standard form, which means by the degree, from the largest degree to the smallest one. So it would be negative 11x squared plus 6x squared minus 8x plus 2. And now you're going to combine like terms, which in this case would be negative 11x squared plus 6x squared, and it would give you negative 5x squared. So now you can simply rewrite the whole problem down now that you have the terms combined. And it would give you negative 5x squared minus 8x plus 2. And now it asked us to name the degree. So since it's the second degree, it would be a quadratic function or equation. Now you have to simplify the sum. So for this problem, we had 8u to the third plus 2u to the second plus 7, and parentheses plus, begin parentheses, 3u to the third minus 7u plus 8. So the first thing you should do is combine the like terms, and you're adding, you're not multiplying, and that's where you made the mistake on this test. So I highlighted the different terms for you, and now all you have to do is combine them. So 8u to the third plus 3u to the third equal 11u to the third. And 2u to the second is the only one of its degree, so you keep it like that. And the same thing for negative 7u. But 7 plus 8 can be added to form 15. And now that you have all of this down, you simply put it into one equation, which would be 11u to the third plus 2u to the second minus 7u plus 15. For this problem, you have to find the greatest common factor of the terms of the polynomial. So here you have 48x to the sixth plus 32x to the second minus 26x to the fifth. So you have to find the greatest common factor of the coefficient, and just in case you don't know what it means, the coefficient is a number used to multiply the variable. So in this case, it would be 48, 32, and 26. And the greatest common factor of those numbers is 2. So 2 is the greatest common factor of the coefficient. And now you have to find the greatest common factor of the variables. So it would be x to the sixth, x to the second, and x to the fifth. And the greatest one out of all of these is x to the second. So that's your greatest common factor. And now you simply combine those two greatest common factors, and it would give you an answer of 2x to the second power. Here you have to simplify the product. So begin parentheses 5h minus 3, close parentheses, open parentheses, 3h plus 7. So what you want to do is multiply 3h plus 7 by 5h. 15h squared plus 35h would be your answer. And now you do the same thing for the other part of the equation, which would be 3h plus 7 multiplied by negative 3, which would give you negative 9h minus 21. And now you combine those two things, and you now combine like terms. So since 35h and negative 9h are of the same term, you can combine them to form 26h, and your equation would be 15h squared plus 26h minus 21. For this problem, you simply have to simplify the product. So 3k plus 4 times 3k squared minus 5k minus 3. And you would simply multiply 3k squared minus 5k minus 3 times 3k. And since 3k times 3k squared is 9k to the third. 3k times negative 5k is negative 15k squared, and 3k times negative 3 is negative 9k. This would be your answer. And now you do the same thing for the other part, which would be 3k squared minus 5k minus 3 times 4. And since 4 times 3k squared is 12k squared, 4 times negative 5k is negative 20k, and 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. This would be your answer. Now all you can do is to combine like terms, and it would give you 9k to the third minus 3k to the second minus 29k minus 12. And that's simply because negative 15k to the second plus 12k to the second is equal to negative 3k to the second, and negative 9k minus 20k is equal to negative 29k. That's why. All you have to do is combine like terms. So for number 6, you still have to simplify the product. So 2x minus 6 squared. And that's the same thing as 2x minus 6 times 2x minus 6. So you would multiply 2x minus 6 times 2x. And that would give you 4x squared minus 12x. And now you would do the same thing, but you would multiply 2x minus 6 times negative 6. And this should give you negative 12x plus 36. And now you can combine like terms, and it would give you 4x squared minus 24x plus 36, since negative 12x plus negative 12x equals negative 24x. And that's all there is. Again, you have to simplify the product for number 7. So 2n plus 2 times 2n minus 2. So you would multiply 2n plus 2 times 2n, and this should give you 4n squared plus 4n. And now you do the same thing for the other part, which would be 2n minus 2 times negative 2. And this should give you negative 4n minus 4. And you combine like terms, and it would give you 4n squared minus 4. Since 4n minus 4n is equal to 0, so you don't put that in, and you are left with 4n squared minus 4. Here you have to factor the expression. So w squared plus 18w plus 77. So write the problem down. It should always be your first step, because you really can't do this in your head. And now you would do the chart I told you about, which is product sum. Here the sum would be 77 and the sum would be 18, and you have to find two numbers that added together equal 18 but multiplied together equal 77. So we would find the factors of 77, which are 1 and 77 and 11 and 7. So since you want the sum to be equal to 18, the only possible choice would be 11 plus 7, which equal 18, and 11 times 7 is equal to 77, so that would be your answer. And then you insert the numbers, and you're left with w plus 11 times w plus 7. And that's all there is. You finally factored the expression. Here you still have to factor the expression. So for number 9, you had 10x squared plus 41x plus 40. Write the problem down, and we're going to use the grouping method for this one. So you're going to divide 41 into two numbers. So I chose 16 and 25, since 10x squared plus 16x plus 25x plus 40 will be easy to group together. And all I did is I decomposed 41 so that I got 16 and 25, and it's the same thing since 16 plus 25 is equal to 41, so I didn't change the value of the expression. Now you have to find the greatest common factor of 10x squared plus 16x, and in this case it's 2x. So 2x times 5x plus 8 would be that part of the equation, or expression, I'm sorry. And then you have to find the greatest common factor of 25x plus 40, which would be 5. And so 5 times 5x plus 8. Now you simply combine those what you have now, and you would be left with 5x plus 8 times 2x plus 5. And if you want to be sure that you did it properly, simply FOIL. Here you want to factor the expression. So d squared plus 18d plus 81. And this is going to be a product sum problem. You can do it different ways, but that's what I suggest. So write the problem down and do the little product sum chart. So the product would be 81 and the sum would be 18. Now you have to write the factors of 81, and it would be 1 times 81, 3 times 27, 9 times 9. And since the sum has to be 18, the only two numbers that work would be 9 times 9, which equals 81, but when added together, 9 plus 9 equal 18. And all you do is simply insert the numbers, and you would have d plus 9 times d plus 9, which is equal to d plus 9 squared. But they wanted you to factor it, so keep it in the d plus 9 times d plus 9 format. Again, factor the following expression for number 11. You had s squared minus 16. So write the problem down, and we're going to do it so that you can do it in the product sum method. But since you're missing the s to be able to do it, we're going to do something different. So s squared plus 0s minus 16 is the same thing, since 0s really equals 0. And now you can do the product sum. So the product would be of negative 16 and the sum would be of 0. So the factors of negative 16 are 4, negative 4, 1, negative 16, 2, negative 8, negative 1, 16, negative 2, 8. And since you want a sum of 0, the only numbers that equal to 0 when you add them together are 4 and negative 4, which equals 0, but when multiplied together equal negative 16. So you simply insert your problems or the numbers, and you get s plus 4 and times s minus 4. And now for the last problem, you still have to factor the expression. So 15g to the third plus 20g squared minus 18g minus 24. You're going to solve this problem by grouping, which I suggest using this method for this one. So rewrite your problem and use the grouping method. So group them together so that 15g to the third plus 20g squared, close your parentheses, plus open parentheses, negative 18g minus 24. And you've grouped them into two numbers. Now find the greatest common factor of of 15g to the third plus 20g squared, and in this case the answer would be 5g squared. So 5g squared times 3g plus 4 would be equal to 15g to the third plus 20g to the second. I hope I'm not confusing you. And now you have to find the greatest common factor of negative 18g minus 24, and in this case it would be negative 6. So negative 6 times 3g plus 4 is equal to negative 18g minus 24. And using what you know now, you can simply finish your factoring. And so your answer would be 5g squared minus 6 times 3g plus 4. And you factored the expression, I apologize. And now all that's left to do is to FOIL it. So if you want to check your work, which I highly suggest, is simply FOIL. And that's it. I hope I didn't go too fast, and feel free to email me if you have any more questions.